Hi Diana, hi Nicole. Hi Diana, hi Nicole. Just give it a couple of minutes for other people to join. Well, after trying to upload the instructions to Facebook earlier with no success, so I'm not sure what's happening there. It's completely lost the instructions that I've typed up, so it will be trying to go from memory tonight because for some reason the computer's not playing nice. So last week we did our 4 sets of pages, so each one has got 3 pages on there. So take the first page, and what I'm going to do is 2 opening out doors, if you like. So yeah, so this is 6 inches, so we want to cut 2. I bet they're not tall enough, no. So we want to cut 2 at 6 inches. By 3.5. So we need to score that at 1/2 inch on the short edge. And then we need to fold them both and burnish them both down. Make sure you've got it the right way up, so your pocket is at the bottom there. And get your glue. So it's 6 by 3.5 and score on the 3.5 side at 1/2 inch. Okay, so they will be 2 flaps. Which in theory, once you've added these to the front of your first fin, look at that, actually fits. My measuring's not as bad as I thought it was. So that's just straightforward, open up, and you've got something there. Okay, so if we turn that one over, I'm going to leave that as is. You can do whatever you, and I have actually finally decided on the papers I'm going to use as well. So on this one, I'll just get some, I'm going to do a flap at the top just to come down to keep what's in your pocket secure. So this one is, it's 6 inches wide. Oops. 2, 4. So if we do that again, if we do that at 4, so that one's 6 inches by 4 inches, and score on the shorter side, on the 4-inch side, at 1/2 inch. Okay, and then burnish that down. Oops. Not sure if you can hear it, but my glue bottle is making strange noises. Pop that on the top there. And I'm going to get my corner rounder and just, I'm going to use the bigger one, round those corners off on the bottom, just for something different. And I've just found a gem that I lost before Christmas on the bottom of my corner rounder. There you go. So we can pop a photo mat in there or a photo, but that just comes down and covers that. So if we do that again on the other side, so again that's 6 inches by 4. Then score at 1/2 inch. And that over. And I'm just going to corner rounder it before I put it on this time. Okay, that goes on the top there. And again, going to leave that side free. Now on the back here, I was going to do a stacked pocket. So we need it at 6 inches across, which is, no we don't. We need it at 7 inches across. Because we need to tuck it down the sides. So if we score on 3 sides, so we need to find your scissors, miter the corners. Now, before I burnish it, I want the bottom pocket to be about 2 inches. So, what I'm going to do is pop the score line on the 2-inch mark. In fact, I'm going to do it at 2.5. So I'll pop the score line on the 2.5-inch mark. Like I say, with the instructions being lost somewhere in the ether of the computer, it's also my measurements. So if we fold that over, and burnish them down, and that will give you your pocket for the bottom. Glue on your flaps. And pop that on there. So this next one, I'm going to do at 1.5. Hi Jen. Ooh, fancy them making you work when you could be crafty. Again. Score at the 1/2 inch. And miter your corners off. And then just fold your edges in. Yeah, that's going to work. And then that will sit just inside. Ooh. I hope you really can't hear this glue because it is quite rude tonight. And then we'll do the same on the next piece. So that was 7 inches by 6 inches, cut at 1.5, 3, and then the other one is scored on 3 sides at 1/2 inch. and the top two. So you've got your score, just kinky miter those. Oops, got glue on my scissors. And again, burnish them down. I would normally do a 1 inch score here, but because it's only a 6 inch booklet, it just gives too much bulk on your page, and it's not really needed for such a small-ish book. Okay, so that just slots in the top there. And just burnish that down. Okay, get rid of those little... Anybody got any top tips on how to clean your bone folder? Because mine is pretty grotty at the minute. So on your first fin, you've got an opening out page like that, a blank page to do whatever you want on. You've got an envelope pocket that you can put in there, and on the back, and you've also got a pocket in between your page. Again, on the back you've got your envelope pocket. Oh, I forgot to glue that down. With another blank page, and then you've got a stacked pocket on mine. So I've decided I'm going to use a really old graphic 45 kit, and this is one obviously I've used, but I have still got bits left on it. So it was called Cottage Life. So it's sort of blues and pinks, and I've got obviously lots of bits. That wasn't meant to happen. So there's still a lot of the cutter parts left, even though I have made quite a large book with it. I've obviously cut the middle out of that for something, but I'm not sure what. So I've still got some of the 12 by 12 papers left, and some of the 8 by 8. I'm just going to use some of the green 12 by 12 at the moment. I don't know if I've got any. So it is absolutely gorgeous paper. But like I say, I've made a book. This is what's left. So might as well use it up so it's all being loved and seen. Still got some more of the cutter parts there, and some of the other cutter parts, but they also have a really pretty background on them. So I'm going to use this for the inside of the front flap. So in there, that's 6 by 6 inches. So I'll just trim this off. Okay, so if I do it just under the 6 inches, and just under that way. Now the big question is, do I ink it? Yeah. See, Jen, don't work too hard. I'm running out of ink on there. So, yeah, I'll just put some glue on the back. And that should just fit like that. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is use the other side of the paper just for something a bit different on the sides. So, yeah, so they're 3 inches each, so just under the 3 inches. And there we go. So the edges of this. Okay. And the reason I don't use the super sticky Crafts 2 glue for my papers is just because I like to have a bit of wiggle room in case I don't get them down straight. And with this one, if you do get it out there, squirt the glue out, it does actually rub off, so it doesn't leave a gluey, gunky mark on it. So that folds over like that. I think I'm going to use some of the pink papers on the front. So what I'm going to do, because all the pages are 6 inches, I'm just going to cut it just under, and I know then that it's hopefully the right size for most of the pages. So again, yeah, 3 inches, so just under 3. And again, just under the 3 inches. What we're buying that's expensive, I need to know what's expensive. Goo Gone. Ooh, never heard of that. Oh, very expensive in the UK. I mean, the idea is don't make a mess of your glue in the first place, but it don't matter what I do, there's always every project there's always a blob of glue just hiding somewhere where it perhaps shouldn't be. So just ink the edges. And if you're using a dark ink, put the lid on, because if you drop your paper on it, you end up with ink all over the back of your paper. Yeah, so just a top tip, put your lid on your ink pad. Okay, bit of glue on the back. And that will fit on there. Okay. So that's the first thing done on that page. So let's have a look at some more papers. I think this takes me longer than anything else, is actually deciding what papers I'm going to use where. So I want a blue page here, but I've got too much choice. So I'm going to go with the flowers because, well, quite frankly, because I can. And why not? Again, cutting it just under the 6 inches, because all our pages are 6 inches. This is why if you've got a 6-inch paper pad, it's really quick and easy to do. But yeah, I decided to use papers that were already out and use some up from a kit. Okay. So again, cut that just under the 6 inches. Ink the edges. And I will probably put something else on there later, but for now we're just going to leave it there. Okay, so on this side I'm going to use the other side of that paper. I need to trim it down to just under 6 inches. And then we need to cut for the pocket, so I'll get my pencil and just mark it there, or do a bigger mark than I can remember to see it. Okay, trim that down and just ink those up. Hi Kishwa. Nicole, undo, remove stocking paint. Ooh. Oh, that sounds good. I like score tape as well, Nikki. But it's gone insanely expensive. I have still got some that I'm using up. But for books, I've gone back to using glue because I found some books that I made a good few years ago, and it looks like the tape, now I don't know what tape it was that I've used because it was years ago, it looks like the tape's dried out and some of the pages have come off, so I'm going to try and stick to glue at the minute, and hopefully won't have that same, I mean they were repairable because I could just glue the pages back on, yeah, but it wasn't very nice to find out that the tape had undone. So that will stick just in there and tuck that in. So because we just glued down that side, I'm going to just trim a little bit off. Oops. And just, yeah, just set that there. There we go. So you've still got your pocket. Okay. Then I think I'm going to use that same paper up there just to keep it flowing. So again, it's 6 inches across, or just under. And trim that off. So that's just under 3.5. Yeah, and then I'll just around the corner. No, I'll use the big one. And ink the edges up. Is anybody actually crafting along, or are you just watching to see if I make a complete mess of it because I can't find the instructions? And then see what bits I do wrong, and then you can put it right. So I've used the same corner rounder, and then that just sits on there. Might actually use that. Yeah, I'm going to use that one there. Just under 3.5. And because there are so many different, it is a good way of using up lots of papers. Like I say, if you've got a 6x6 pad, I completely measured that wrong. There we go. If you've got a 6x6 pad, there's not an art. You just need to very carefully just trim the edges a little bit, and you don't have to do as much cutting and scoring because, or cutting. There you go. So we've got, so there's a pocket, there's a page there that you can put something on, and you've got a pocket there. We'll come back to the ones in the middle at the end, and we'll do all the photo mats to go in there. So on this side, I'm going to use that one. Again, just under the 6 inches. So that one can go on there, and I'm going to end up with loads more little bits left, but we'll get there. So that one will fit just on there. Looks like I've drawn on it for some reason. So again, it needs trimming down to just under the 6, and to it just under 2 inches. In there, yeah, that'll just fit on there. Start reading while I'm inking, then I don't miss anything. Yeah, you're right, Nikki, score tape is amazing, but we'll have to see what more charges Mr. Trump will put on it for us bringing it over here. Yeah, it is, you're right, it is expensive, but it is the way to go. Yeah, I actually, my dad found a card that I'd made for him for his 60th, and he's 75 now, and the topper on that is still where it was, never moved. And yet the one that I made for him last year, which I thought was the same double-sided, has, the top has come off, so it obviously wasn't the same double-sided that I'd used, but there's not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. So again, cut it at just under 6. So we want one at at 3.5. Glue on the back. One thing I do like about the Graphic 45 patterns and solids is that although that one's directional, the reverse of it isn't really. So you can use both sides, and it doesn't So just measure this out again. I think you've all realised by now I just prefer to mark the cut paper and cut it that way. Touch wide, so I'll just trim some off the end, and then make sure I round the correct ends, because I have been known to do it wrong a time or two. Ink the edges. Yeah, I'm all for an easy life, Diana. I'd rather do that than have to measure it and then trim a bit more off and trim a bit more off. So there's, so stacked pocket. Thinking not wide enough. Unless I can use the pink, green, pink. Yeah. So again, cut it just under 6, which that is. So that's the top one. Again, that needs to be just under 6. Stick that in there, then I know where I'm going. trim that down slightly. So that's the bottom, and that's that one. So I need this green one at just under 6 inches. Cut another piece of that. So that one will go at the top there. I just need a smidge off the end of that. I bet that's too short, so we'll just trim a bit more off there. So let's get this done. Ink the edges on here again. So I just think if you ink the edges, it just gives it a little, not sure what, but just a little something. Just pop that in there so I can see where it's going. So that one's done there. So again, this should just slot in there. And then I can wiggle it up so it's level. And then just ink the last one. Okay, so just pop that in the top, and there you go. So your first fin has got papers, and you've got your stacked pocket at the back. Okay, get rid of these little bits. Ones like that I'll keep because they may come in useful for, I don't know what for, but it may come in useful after. Okay, so let's have a look. My favourite, yeah. Kishwa. So this glue is right way around, Kalal. I tend to use this just for putting papers on, so it just gives me that little bit more wiggle room so that you can twist the papers so you get them exactly straight. If I use the sticks to glue, sometimes it sticks a little bit too quick, and this, although it is sticks to glue, I haven't got the strength in my hand for the I think the new bottles may be different, so I've just decanted it into an old pin flare bottle because it's really quite easy to squidge out, but that's just because I've got dodgy wrists and dodgy joints in my hands, so that's why that. But yeah, I have them. I have little tiny ones with both of them in. And I also have the big bottles that I refill into these because it does work out cheaper buying the litre bottles and topping them up rather than just and it's more environmentally friendly than keep buying the new bottles of glue. So leave that there for this week, and I will, if I can't get the instructions uploaded myself, I will speak to my son, otherwise known as tech support, and get him to have a look at why they didn't work this time. Not sure what I've done wrong because they worked every other time, but I will get them up at some point and hopefully get next week's up ready as well. Kishwa, yes, the sticks to glue is. Very few places do the Kalal at the minute. I'm not sure if it's going through a change of where it actually comes from. But yes, I've definitely got the sticks to on the website. Okay. All right, I'll see you all next week. Bye.